Hello, 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 folks. We are live for another episode of Zoomin with Zack. Super excited to bring to you a really good friend of mine, a dude I've actually looked up to a lot since I moved back to Philly. So, super excited to introduce you. I don't want to waste any time, so let's get right into it. Welcome, everybody. I hope everyone is having a lovely Tuesday afternoon. I'm back with another episode of Zoom In with Zack. It's actually been a while since I did one of these. It's been at least 2.5 weeks since I had my man Adam, one of my former colleagues at the Nets. We ended up having some technical difficulties in that episode. He had some Wi-Fi go down in this whole building. So we are going to be doing a part 2. I will bring that to you soon. But the rest of the month has just been busy. It's been very, very busy. A lot of great client projects that once they conclude this month, I'm able to talk about and promote. So you'll see me being annoying on social really soon. But before we get to that, I really am excited to introduce to you my guest today. He's a good friend of mine. I actually look forward to telling you how I kind of met him. But before I even jump into that, I'm going to have him say something, see if you guys can guess who it is we got with us today. Special guest, say something to the people. If someone would pick him up off of that, I'm impressed. Guys, I'm looking forward to having a good chat with my man Rashaad Lambert. What's up, What's up,
I had to, man. I had I had to give that, that authentic Philly call to action.
Call to
Anytime
action.
that you hear that, that's a call to action. It's for call and response. We are a rhythmic people, so we have lots of call and response. So if I say I'm expecting to hear a you're back.
There you go. and the action that could be taking place could be a variety of things.
Right,
it's just like John.
It could be anything.
John could
it's
be
just like John. It could be anything. It could be any number of things. Man, good to see you though, bro.
Yeah, man. I'm super excited to have you on today. I will tell folks, you guys got to follow this dude. I'm going to be dropping all sorts of links and banners for you guys to follow Rashaad. He is an amazing dude. He's actually someone, I don't think I've said this to you before, that I actually aspire to be like in business. Because when I first met Rashaad, I tell you, it's the truth. Because again, I might be older than you, Rashaad. I don't know. Not that age has something really to do with it, but you've been in this career of consulting and helping businesses grow for a long time, longer than I have. I got into this game in 2015 and was more so forced into it. I wasn't like, ooh, I want to be a consultant. It was my sports career ain't where it is. Like what's the pivot? And it's funny. We met through My New Philly. That was one of my very first clients. And, I'm new to the consulting game. I'm working, basically on commission only. And as I'm chatting with them, they're like, yeah, there's this dude, Rashaad. He kind of helps us out a bit on some marketing stuff as well. He's in your same space. You should meet him. And I was just like, awesome. Like, I definitely want to connect with somebody else who's in this consulting space. But I was nervous the first time connecting because I never knew. I love networking, but I never know where someone's come from, what experiences they've had. And also it's Philly. So, you hear folks. And I know what consultants from Philly sometimes get put on them as their quality of work and skill. And I don't know you from a can of paint at this point. So we met over at iMunch. Shout out to them.
Yeah, shout out to iMunch.
We meet over there and we had this chat and I was like, yo, this dude got his game on tight. I love how he's working in all these different buckets. And I kind of started to model my mindset after that because I was just like, I love what I'm doing with mine in Philly, but like I want to have my hands in like a lot of different buckets. And you were kind of the first person I saw doing that successfully. So I do appreciate you for that. But yeah, man, it's been a heck of a journey for you. I've been watching, how you move. And I definitely want to talk a lot about Forbes, the culture, but I figured I'd just kind of let you introduce yourself, what you do, how you do what you do to the people so they can get a better idea of who you are.
Okay. So I'm Rashaad Lambert, founder of Forbes the Culture. Oh, that was cool. I like the way that just popped right up as soon as I said my name. I am a marketing consultant. I'm a art strategist. I'm an art broker. Uh, I'm a lot of different things. It's always difficult, even after all these years. It's really hard for me to still talk about myself. Like
Right.
I get to these sort of conversations and I like freeze up. Like, what thing do I say that I do? So I'll put it like this. I am in marketing now because I started my career in corporate America. I got my black belt in Six Sigma, and then I started the world's first and probably still only uh, a Six Sigma a marketing agency, and we're still, as far as I know, we're still the only one. And everything probably from that point is sort of just kind of like spiral. I don't advertise. That's why a lot of you people might not even know who I am. I don't I don't run ads. I don't like advertise my business. I kind of just let it run through word of mouth. I try to do good business by doing good business. So as long as I continue to do good business, I will be able to continue to do good business. You know, that's me in a nutshell.
Indeed, indeed. And I think even despite the fact that you don't advertise, one of the things that's definitely out there and people know a lot about is the work you've done with Forbes the Culture. This is a national, international brand, and this Philly marketer has his hands all over it. So tell us a little bit about Forbes the Culture and kind of how that came to be.
Sure. So I started Forbes of Culture in 2017, October 3rd, 2017 to be exact. I'm sorry, October 4th, 2017 to be exact. But Forbes of Culture wasn't a plan. It didn't come about because it was something I wanted to do. I always say that like that it was birthed out of necessity. I wanted to gather together some Black entrepreneurs. 25 people is who I invited that were all over the Boston area for that particular conference, and 300 people showed up. And it kind of just spiraled from there. It went from 300 to 1,000 to 1,500. And next thing I know, we had 2,500 members all over the world, and now we have about 7,500 members worldwide. But for Forbes of Culture is an organization for Black and Brown professionals where we are focused on creating more equitable pathways, not equal, because equality is subjective. I don't care if you're my equal or if you see me as an equal, but you got to pay me. So that is the main focus of Forbes of Culture, is to make sure that we are providing opportunities for this generation and the next generation of Black and Brown leaders, because these opportunities were not afforded to us. When I first started my company, I started my company in '09, but prior to '09, I was doing business. I just didn't know that I was running a business. I was doing all this stuff. I've been like running businesses since I was 10, but the lack of business mentors in the Black community creates where you take all of these business skills, but then you start to apply them in other ways that are probably not the best for you. So, luckily, I was able to find my stride in this direction, but who knows? It could have ended up anywhere else.
Right.
And I just want to make sure that we kind of like avoid that. The three C's of Forms of Culture are to connect, to collaborate and change. We connect based on what we have in common and not where we differ. I don't care about your political affiliation or what church you go to. None of that matters. It's just we are Black. That's number one. Let's focus on that. And then we collaborate. Once you know what your folks do, where they are, how they fit into your life, and how you fit into their life, business-wise and otherwise, then we can collaborate and we can start to figure out how we can work together. And that cooperative economics thing kicks in. And then the change piece is that once you connect and you collaborate, that's how we change the game. That's really the main thing. Is we can't change the game if we are all working separately doing the same stuff. It just doesn't make sense. It's just like speaking from like a Philly perspective, but I know that this is in New York and all over the place. And going into religion, there may be 4 churches on 4 corners that are all adjacent from each other. Each one of those churches has something that's called a capital campaign fund, which means they're trying to raise money to get improvements on this particular building. But if all of them are struggling, there should be some sort of collaboration between them to pool resources and figure out how we're not competing for money, but we are all bringing money in together.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, the change part is key. And I love the collaborative approach to change. I think that makes the most sense in the world.
Absolutely.
Indeed. So let's get to some questions for you, so folks can learn a little bit more
I like this part.
about you. We're gonna hit up the 3 random questions.
Okay.
So I need you to give me a number, a 3-digit number. All the numbers got to be different. And whenever you're ready, let me know. 0 is in play, so if you want to use a 0 in there, you're welcome to.
Okay. I'm gonna go with 404.
Nope, gotta change it. You got 2 4s in there.
Okay. Each number got to be different. Okay, got you.
Yep.
So let's say 409.
Okay, 409 it is. So let's go see what question number 4 is. Let's put that on the screen. What's one of the biggest hurdles you've overcome or didn't overcome, and what have you learned from it?
This is one of my favorite questions. Yeah, this is one of my favorite questions. So, taxes. When I first started my business, I wasn't. So one of the things that my brother and I did, because my brother was my first business partner, we wanted to. He spent some time incarcerated for something that he didn't do, and when he came home, he had a hard time getting a job. So we just started some businesses, and what we wanted to do is provide that same opportunity for other people that were formerly incarcerated, that we would be able to hire them and bring them onto the team and give them at least their first shot. It might not be their long-term career, but something to get them out of the halfway house, things of that nature. And what I wasn't thinking about at the time is that when you're doing taxes, you got to have like a current address on file for everybody. And as people are moving around, things of that nature, we kind of had a revolving door, and we lost contact with a lot of those people, but they made money. So we weren't able to get the information to them so that they could file taxes. And when those sort of things happen for anybody watching, you end up with the tax bill. If it's not paid by somebody else, you have to pay it. So I ended up with a $65,000 tax, and I always say the number just because I want people to understand how scary this was for somebody in their first 2 years of business. I ended up with a $65,000 tax bill that I was trying to figure out, how is it possible that I owe this money and we didn't even make any money this year? Like, how do I owe so much? And I'm like, I need to find a better accountant, or I need to do better accounting. So what I did is I implemented a system. One, I didn't realize that even though I had been consulting for so long, I didn't realize that I could hire them on as consultants and not have to hire them on as full-time employees. So I switched my business model to, instead of hiring a bunch of employees, I hired a bunch of consultants. And then 2, I got a much better accountant than I had before. Shout out to Wes. But yeah, that's it made things so much smoother.
I can imagine. So 0 was your second number, and 0 is random. So I get to pick what question I want to ask out of my 9 questions. Man. So
all right, cool. Make it fun. Make it interesting.
You know what? I'm curious about this. So because I love the nonprofit world, I love helping different causes, and that's kind of a space. So I'm gonna give you this one. What is a cause you are passionate about, and why?
Okay. So my nonprofit organization is called Lambert Legacy Charities, and we are focused on eradicating deep poverty in southeastern Pennsylvania, but then of course the world. For those that don't know, Philadelphia has been in a state of deep poverty since 1984, and deep poverty is anything over 30%. Over 25%. We were at 28%. Now we are at, I think, like 27%. So it may be down 1%, but that's still pretty dismal compared to when you look at a city like Philadelphia and all these developments and all these companies and all these corporations, these new buildings coming up, it's like, how is this city still in a state of poverty? It doesn't make any sense. So we do it through through food access and through education. So we have a farm in West Philly that's a community garden, but we provide fresh fruits and vegetables to the community, and then we have an education platform called the Life program. Life stands for the Lambert Institute for Entrepreneurship, but it's focused on teaching entrepreneurship instead of preaching entrepreneurship. So my theory is that if you understand all of the tenets of what it takes to become an entrepreneur, then you'll be able to work in any job. You can become employee of the month. You can start a company if you want to, but I'm not trying to force that on the youth, because being an entrepreneur, it may be fun, but it ain't easy. So it's definitely not something that I recommend for everybody, because it takes a certain type of person to be able to run a business. So that's our focus, is to teach all of the tenets of entrepreneurship, like staying focused, knowing that there's nobody is going to do it but you, making sure that you measure twice and cut once, research, getting up early or staying up late. It all depends on what your preference is, but you can't do both. So those are the sort of things that we try to make sure that we like instill in the youth. I've taught this in partnership with 1199C, which is the healthcare and hospital workers union. I was one of the largest in the nation. I've taught this at a Temple University, Cheney University, Drexel. I may be missing something, and like a bunch of high schools. Shout out to KIP Charter Network and the Mastery Network as well.
Awesome. I love all of that, and I want to learn more about that, because I love speaking to the youth.
Absolutely. Oh man, they will love you, Zach. They will love you.
I'm in. Last question before I let you go today is number 9. Yep, you did before 09. Let's see, number 9. And this is an interesting question, because us folks in this consulting space technically can have a hand in any industry, because we can help anybody grow. But if you could work in another industry or job, what would it be and why?
So that is another interesting question that I get asked pretty often, but I'll tell you a story, and I want to give my mom a huge shout out, because she's probably watching this now. I don't know how she finds this, but I'm sure she's watching this. I was talking to my mom recently, and she's such a wise woman. She asked me, did I remember when I used to play with Legos? And I'm like, yeah, I still love Legos. My daughter now builds like all types of structures and stuff. She was like, do you remember when you wanted to be an architect? And I was like, yeah. It's really interesting that I've always wanted to like build things. I've always wanted to create things that didn't exist. She said, well, isn't it really funny how you weave that into your current job? And I'm like, but I'm not an architect. I don't understand where you're going with this. And she said, well, the way that you like struck like that you construct businesses and you help others with their businesses and you help them grow and you help them build, that's sort of the same thing as like being an architect. You're just in marketing. And that's how I came up with the phrase architect. It just was like, oh, okay, I like that. And I just like, oh, so I'm like a marketech, and we laughed about it. And I was like, oh, I should trademark that. So I did. I did. But yeah, that's the other thing that I still am very interested in architecture, structure, and I feel like my passion and love for art falls into that same thing as well, because I'm looking at things being created that didn't exist before, sort of like out of thin air, like NFTs and things of that nature. So
awesome, man. I appreciate this knowledge. I mean, as much as we've known each other and I've followed you, I actually learned some new gems of you today.
So I appreciate it.
We got even more to talk about next time. Absolutely. We have a one-on-one. To all the folks who have been watching, like I say, connect with the people that I bring on here, especially if there's something they say that resonates with what you do or what you're interested in doing or what you can do to aid what they're doing. All those reasons are great reasons to connect. And otherwise, you just want good people in your circle. And Mr. Lambert here is one of the best people you can have in that circle. So reach out to him on LinkedIn. For sure, man. I don't tell lies. So folks, of course, as always, feel free to reach out to me if you want to schedule a one-on-one. I got the info at Rebel Hill Consulting down there. Love talking to people about growing their brands. And shout out to Teresa Paris, who saw this show, reached out, and wanted me to produce her show. And we do currently produce Good Morning Conshohocken now every other Wednesday. Yeah, super excited about it.
Super dope. That's the way it's supposed to go. That's the way it's supposed to go.
I think she has a mayor of Conshohocken coming on tomorrow morning. So definitely shout out to her. To close it out, as you guys know, I let my guest say some parting words. So again, all you guys enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and I pass it over to my man Rashaad. Thank you, bro.
No problem. Well, boys and girls, since I get to say something, this is what I'll say. We in this generation, I'm a millennial, but if you're alive right now, this is the generation of sacrifice. Say it with me now. Generation of sacrifice. I will pretend like it's on the screen. And the reason why that is so important is because the things that we create and do right now are going to shape the world for the next 30, 40, 50, 100 years. And it's not going to be easy to find a Black business to support. It's not going to be easy to find a Black consultant to support or any of those things, but you got to do it. Because if we do not do it now, we're going to miss our window, and this time is going to be up, and we'll be fighting the same fight again in 15 years. So I'll say it one more time. Generation of sacrifice. I don't know. I think I messed it up, but it should be words right here to say that. But yeah, that's my final thought. So do your due diligence, cooperative economics, work with your neighbors, find some people to support. Go the extra mile. It's not going to come as fast as Amazon. It won't be there as quickly as DoorDash, but find it. There's Black and Noble. Black and Mobile. I'm sorry. Is a Black Uber Eats, DoorDash. Order something from them. Figure it out. Find a way. But this is what we got to do. This is why it says we want it all. Oh wait, wrong side. Sorry, it's a mirror. We want it all Black. That's what we want. Cool.